So last night I'm sitting around watching YouTube videos, and I'm just surfing along like through the recommended list, and a video pops up, something about an amazing brake boosting GTO. I'm like, well, let me check this out. That's brake boosting. Yeah. All right. So I click on it, and in a couple of seconds I realize these guys are roll racing, right? You know, roll racing, is that really a thing? They're still doing this? So I'm watching, and I was like, oh, this is like really, it's offending my boomer hot rodder sensibilities. You know, because roll racing has been around since the very beginning. But roll racing was always a domain of like, you know, guys with luxury barges that had like 270 gears, and sports car guys, Porsches, BMWs, Corvette guys, they would all roll race, you know, independent rear suspensions and all of that, and, you know, low torque motors. So they'd go from a roll. And us real men, we would always go from the dig, you know. And roll racing was always looked down upon. So, and I'm watching all of these videos. Now I'm surfing through them, and like I'm seeing all of them through these jaded eyes, you know. And then finally I come across this one thing about there's a roll racing sanctioning body, the International Roll Racing Association. Now, I know this may not be new to a bunch of you guys, but like to me it's like, really? Roll racing? You know, professional roll racing, organized roll racing? Like, you know, these alternative lifestyle people, maybe they've taken things too far now. Because like to a traditional hot rodder, you know, traditional drag racer, it's like, you know, roll racers kind of like fall into the heading of, you know, they fall into that category of like furries and people who identify as being a pork chop. So it's like, it's just, you know, but I'm watching these videos, and I keep scrolling, I keep watching more and more of them, and I'm seeing these really amazing cars, you know, and then I started to realize, you know, this is a bit of a different world that we're in today, and you know, maybe there actually is a place for roll racing. So a lot of you, like, you know, you traditionalists, so like, you know, you have a car, and Uncle Tony's talking about pro roll racing. Yeah, you know, so as I'm watching these videos, I'm realizing that these cars, these are like late model, all the cars that I'm watching now are like late model, you know, Mustangs and Challengers and whatnot. And they're all, you know, they're boosted. You're talking about 800,000 horsepower cars. And it's like, you know, in the real world, there is no place for these things to like street race. Like, okay, for example, on a real street with real street tires, a well-sorted 400 horsepower car will run away and hide from something with 1,000 horsepower, because the high horsepower car is just going to be sitting there freewheeling, and the driver's got to be doing all kinds of, you know, he's got to catch. So in a typical street race, the slower car or the moderate horsepower car has an advantage. But in today's world of, like, you know, tuners and super high horsepower cars, especially the ones that are available from the factory, running from the dig on the street is almost impossible. But from a roll, from a 30, 40 mile an hour roll, these things come into their own. So you could say, well, you know, all right, so fine, you know, throw a set of drag radials on a thing, you know, get it to hook, right? Do whatever you have to do to make it hook. But it's like these cars are used as transportation. And a lot of them are using, you know, fragile and finicky independent rear suspensions. So you get the thing to hook, and it's going to break stuff. It's going to spit out half shafts. There's going to be a lot of carnage. These are cars that people are driving to and from work, to and from school, doing their, you know, their daily running around with, and they just want to go out and play with them. So the idea of like just shredding drivetrain stuff just for shits and giggles doesn't really make much sense. But running them from a roll does. And then you get the import guys on top of that. You know, I mean, it's almost all front wheel drive. And you're talking about some real horsepower, real high horsepower front drivers. But in a traditional drag race, they're lost. You know, you can't hook them. You hit the gas, all the weight transfers to the back, and they freewheel, and then they torque steer, and they do all sorts of stuff. But from a roll, they're right there. So it's like, maybe there is a place in the world of drag racing for roll racing to be an actual recognized part of, let's say, our culture. I know, for me, like, to say this is like, you know, this is like radical, but I'm starting to see it. And I think that there is some validity to all of this. Especially if you want the traditional drag racing culture to grow, because you've got countless guys out there with late model cars and with tuners and stuff along those lines, and roll racing is actually like the normal thing. So I'm watching the International Roll Racing Association. They had an event, and it looks like it's doable. They roll up to the starting line at 30 miles an hour. I think it's a 40-mile-an-hour roll. And then it's kind of a gentleman's agreement, you know what I mean? Like, who's going to hit the gas, because there's no green, there's no real red lighting in this. And then they run it out to the quarter mile. And, or the eighth, however distance you're going to run. It looks like it's a doable thing. It looks like something like this could actually be cultivated to become part of the mainstream drag racing culture. And I mean, from where I'm seeing, it's like, it's all good. There's nothing but growth there. And it's like, I even got enthusiastic about it. Like, after I'm done watching this, I'm going to bed and I'm like, gee, I wonder which one of my cars would work best as like a roll racer. Just forget about the dig, forget about getting that thing, which one of my cars would really work best? What can I cultivate to go from 30 miles an hour on out, So, it's like I started to get enthusiastic about it, because, there's only so many different ways to skin the cat. And you've been around as long as I have, you've skinned them every way you can. The roll racing kind of adds a new dimension to the whole thing. So, I'm curious to know what you guys think about all of this. What is the potential? Can it be cultivated? Can it actually form part of the mainstream part of, what we do as hot rodders and drag racers? Put something in the comments below, and let's see what the general consensus is. And if there's enough positive feedback, maybe we'll start looking into doing some features on these type of cars and the technology that they're using. So that's it. Simple as that. I'll see you tomorrow.